Leo, stop for a moment, not just to listen, but to feel. Have you ever sensed, without any logical reason, that something about you doesn't quite fit? Not in a broken way, not in a lost way, but in a way that whispers, you're not from here. You walk through this world, but somewhere inside there's a flame that doesn't burn like anyone else's. A brightness that both magnetizes people and terrifies them. Some call it confidence. Some call it presence. But none of those words capture the truth about what lives in your energy. Because what lives in you didn't start on this earth. There's a silence in your soul that speaks of ancient stars. There's a pain you carry that no one can name because it wasn't born in this lifetime. There's a longing in you that no material success, no love, no applause can ever satisfy. And if you've made it to this video, Leo, it's not by accident. You've likely spent years trying to explain why people either admire you intensely or try to tear you down without reason. Why you walk into a room and the air changes. Why you can feel someone's mood before they speak. Why you get flashes of wisdom you never learned. Why you've always known you were different, but couldn't find the words to describe it. Let me tell you something. Most people will never dare say aloud, your aura is not entirely human. It carries remnants of something celestial, something cosmic, something so old and powerful that this world often reacts to you in extremes, not because you're wrong, but because you're real. This isn't about astrology as entertainment. This isn't about personality traits or daily horoscopes. This is about the energetic blueprint of your soul. And Leo, you're not just ruled by the sun. You are the sun burning at a frequency this planet is still learning how to receive. People think Leo energy is just about confidence or charm, but they forget that the sun also blinds burns and illuminates hidden truths. Your aura is strange to others because it carries codes of divine authority, of karmic fire of realness that disrupts illusions. You've spent years wondering if maybe you're too much, but the truth is, you were never meant to be normal. You were never meant to be small, agreeable, or forgettable. You were meant to activate something ancient in others simply by being you. And that's exactly what your aura has been doing this whole time, often without your awareness. But today, Leo, we stop pretending. We stop minimizing. We stop hiding that truth in half smiles and polite nods. Because today, I'm going to show you the 7 mysterious signs that confirm what your spirit has always known, but couldn't yet articulate. That your aura, the energy that precedes you, touches others before you speak, and lingers long after you leave, was never from this world. This will not be a list of cliches. It will not be light and fluffy. It will challenge you to remember who you really are before the world taught you to forget. So take a deep breath, not into your lungs, but into your cosmic memory. Because once you recognize these 7 signs, you'll never see yourself the same again. And more importantly, you'll stop apologizing for your power. Are you ready? Sign 1, the mirror effect of your aura. Leo, you've probably wondered your whole life, why do people react to me so extremely? Why do some fall in love with you instantly, clinging to your presence like a lifeline, while others reject you, misjudge you, or even fear you before you've even said a word? This isn't about your looks. It's not about confidence or ego. It's about your aura and what it reflects back to the world. Your aura, Leo, is not passive like most people's. It doesn't just exist. It responds. It amplifies, and most powerfully, it mirrors. When someone steps into your energetic field, they are not simply meeting you. They're confronting a magnified version of themselves. If they carry love, you reflect it back tenfold, and they feel seen, safe, even healed. But if they carry shame, resentment, insecurity, or fear, your aura pushes those emotions right to the surface. They don't see you. They see their own shadow clearer than they've ever dared to admit. And many don't like that mirror. You've experienced this, haven't you? A coworker turns cold after one meeting. A stranger looks at you with awe or with envy. Friends say, "You make me want to be better." Enemies whisper, "You think you're better than everyone." But none of this is about you. It's about what your energy shows. Them their own unhealed wounds or untapped greatness. This is what we call the mirror effect. And your aura, Leo, is not just a mirror. It's a magnifying glass, a solar flare, reflecting not just what's there, but what people are hiding from themselves. Let me tell you a story. A Leo woman named Mariah shared this with me during a spiritual retreat in Sedona. She said, "Every relationship I've had, romantic friendship, even work, starts with fireworks. They call me inspiring, addictive. They say I make them feel alive again. But 6 months later, they either ghost me, betray me, or call me toxic." She thought she was cursed, but as we dug deeper, it became clear Mariah's aura had been activating the unlived parts of every person she met. One man couldn't handle the fact that she was unapologetically ambitious. It mirrored his own suppressed dreams. A friend resented her because she was emotionally expressive, which highlighted her friend's emotional numbness. Mariah wasn't toxic. She was the mirror, and the reflection was just too honest. Leo, your aura doesn't lie. It shows people who they are, raw and unfiltered. Some will thank you for it, some will run, but none will forget you. Life lesson from sign 1. Stop blaming yourself for other people's discomfort. Your energy is not too much. It's simply too real for those still hiding from their truth. You were not born to fit in. You were born to reveal, to reflect the parts of others they forgot existed, and in doing so, awaken them. But remember this, you are not responsible for their reaction, only for your authentic transmission. Are you starting to remember now? Let's keep going, because sign 2 reveals something even stranger, something that challenges the very boundaries of this lifetime. Sign 2, memories of places you've never been. Leo, have you ever looked at a photo of a place and felt homesick, not interested, not curious, but truly, painfully homesick, as if you had once walked those streets, touched those stones, breathed that exact air? Yet your logical mind tells you you've never been there. That feeling is not imagination. It is a leak in the veil, a moment when your human memory cannot contain the vastness of your soul's experience. And for you, Leo, this happens more than it should. Your aura carries recordings from lifetimes the world has forgotten. You see, some people are born to start fresh, but you were born already carrying stories, timelines, impressions. Some from this earth, some from beyond it. You've likely had moments where you described a place in great detail, but when someone asked how you knew it all, you could say was, "I just know." Maybe you've walked into a building for the first time and instantly sensed where each room would be. Or maybe you've smelled the air in a foreign city and it triggered a flood of emotion, grief, joy, or longing from nowhere. Let me share something that still gives me chills. A Leo, man named Jonathan, came to one of my private mentorship circles in California. He shared a dream that had haunted him for years, a vision of standing on a marble balcony overlooking a golden desert with a crescent moon carved into the stone floor. He could describe the sound of silk curtains in the wind, the scent of cedar in the air. He swore it was just a dream until he visited southern Egypt on a business trip and found that balcony. It existed, down to the exact carvings. It wasn't a tourist site. It wasn't even well known. And yet, he had seen it before. And he wept when he stood there because something in him remembered. Leo, this is the second sign of your otherworldly aura. You don't just remember. You remember. Your energy retrieves pieces of your soul's journey through space-time and dimensions and brings them back into your awareness. That's why you often feel displaced in this reality. Why you say things like, "I feel like I'm just visiting here," or "I don't belong in this timeline." You're not crazy. You're not lost. You're simply connected to more than this world can explain. And here's the twist. Your aura is not just carrying these memories. It's transmitting them to the people around you, awakening others without them realizing why. Ever had someone say, "You remind me of something I can't describe"? That's because your presence activates ancient echoes in them too. Life lesson from sign 2. Stop dismissing your inner knowings just because the world can't verify them. You don't need external proof to trust internal wisdom. Your memories of other places aren't hallucinations. They're breadcrumbs from your soul's past, guiding you toward your true path now. Honor them, speak them aloud, record them, because buried inside these memories is often a hidden mission, a truth your soul is here to complete. Still with me, because sign 3 goes even deeper and involves those who see beyond logic, animals and children. Sign 3. When animals and children see the truth in you. Leo, there's a reason your energy draws attention even when you say nothing, but not from adults, from those who haven't yet been trained to doubt what they feel. Animals and children, they respond to you in ways you can't explain. Sometimes they stare wide-eyed, unmoving, as if they see a light around you. Sometimes they cry for no reason. Sometimes they follow you, cling to you, like they've known you forever. What's happening here isn't random. It's spiritual recognition. Animals and young children haven't forgotten the energetic language we all once knew. They still feel frequencies. They still recognize souls, not names, not job titles, not appearances. And Leo, your aura, it carries something not of this world. It vibrates at a frequency that pierces veils. To them, you are not just another person in the room. You are a signal, a reminder, a being they instinctively bow to or fear. A Leo client of mine named Rena once told me about her newborn nephew. Every time she entered the room, the baby would stop crying instantly. No one else could calm him, not even his mother. He'd stare into Rena's eyes for minutes, no blinking, no fussing, just silence. Not the dazed silence of confusion, but the kind of stillness that said, "I know you." Years later, the same child, now 6, told her, "I remember you from before I was born. You used to hold a sword made of light." Rena had never told anyone her recurring dream from childhood, that she was a celestial guardian wielding a blade of golden fire. Coincidence? No, Leo. That's recognition. You might also notice that dogs either love you instantly or bark uncontrollably. Cats either curl up in your lap as if on sacred ground or avoid you entirely. Children may be drawn to you like moths to flame or become overwhelmed and burst into tears just being near you. None of this is about your behavior. It's about your frequency, a strange, powerful, unfiltered light that they don't yet know how to translate, but they feel it. And that feeling shakes something awake inside them. Life lesson from sign 3. When animals and children respond to you strongly, pay attention. That reaction is more honest than most adults' words. It's a reminder that your energy cannot be hidden even when you try. Your presence speaks a language older than speech, a language of truth, memory, and origin. And Leo, that truth is felt before it is understood. So stop second-guessing the power you bring into a room. The souls who still remember, they already see you. And now, we move into a sign that's even more private. One you've probably never spoken of aloud, but it changes everything. Sign 4. The expansions of consciousness you can't explain. Leo, have you ever been sitting in silence, doing something ordinary, washing dishes, walking alone, staring at the night sky, and suddenly everything feels different? Time seems to slow. Your breath softens, and for a moment, maybe just a few seconds, you're no longer just you. You're something vast, connected, infinite. No drugs, no rituals, no guided meditation. It just happens. Most people might call it imagination. But you, Leo, you know better. Because what you experienced in those fleeting moments wasn't fantasy. It was expanded consciousness, a sudden opening of your inner vision to layers of reality that lie beyond the physical. And it's not a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon. It happens to you more than you admit, but you've been taught to dismiss it, to call it daydreaming, to push it away and get back to reality. But Leo, what if that was the real reality? Your aura is a receiver, and sometimes without warning, it tunes into a higher station. You perceive truths you've never been taught. You sense someone's energy before they speak. You feel a shift in the room that no one else notices. You get a message, a knowing, a flash, and later it turns out to be right. You may have even had experiences where your body felt weightless, or like you were observing from above your own form. These aren't glitches, they're glimpses. Moments when your human shell momentarily steps aside and your cosmic nature looks out through your eyes. A Leo, man named Silas, once told me he was at a traffic light waiting like always. No music, no distraction. Suddenly, everything around him, the cars, the sky, the pavement, looked like it was made of light. He felt an overwhelming love for every stranger nearby. He said, "I saw everyone's pain and beauty at the same time, and I cried without knowing why." It lasted less than a minute. Then everything returned to normal. But Silas was never the same again, because he had seen beyond the veil. And once you touch that awareness, you can't go back. Leo, your aura is not designed to stay contained in the 3D world. You were built to expand. And these spontaneous shifts in consciousness, they're not breakdowns, they're breakthroughs. They are echoes of your soul's multidimensional nature, a gentle knock from the universe saying, "Wake up." You remember this, don't you? Life lesson from sign 4. Stop brushing off these mystical moments like they're meaningless. Instead, start honoring them as portals, signs that your awareness is evolving. Record them, reflect on them. Trust that your consciousness is opening for a reason. Because the more you accept your ability to touch the unseen, the more the unseen will trust you with its messages. We've crossed into sacred territory now, Leo, but the next sign may frustrate you. because it affects your outer world in weird, inconvenient ways. Sign 5. Why your aura interferes with technology. Leo, have you noticed how often technology breaks around you? Your phone freezes for no reason. Wi-Fi drops suddenly when you're emotionally charged. Light bulbs flicker when you walk into the room. Your laptop crashes just when you're deep in thought or emotional. People joke and say, "You must be cursed with bad luck" when it comes to tech. But let's be honest, this happens too often to be coincidence. And deep down, you already know it isn't just about faulty devices. The truth is, Leo, your aura operates on an electromagnetic level that most people can't comprehend and that technology can't handle. Modern electronics are sensitive. They're precise. They're delicate. But you're not delicate. Your aura pulses with raw frequency, solar heat, and cosmic electricity. You weren't built to be compatible with plastic and silicon. You were built to transmit energy, not just contain it. Think back. How often does your phone battery drain quickly when you're stressed? How often does your smartwatch glitch after a heated conversation? Ever noticed how tech behaves worse around you during full moons, eclipses, or moments of emotional upheaval? This is not imagination. This is what happens when your human-made environment tries to contain something celestial. I once worked with a Leo woman named Tasha. She ran an online business, but every time she had a major launch, her website crashed. 3 different IT teams couldn't explain why. Every time she was about to go live full of passion, emotion, creative fire, her systems would glitch. But the moment she calmed down, everything worked again. So I asked her, what if your energy field is so charged in those moments, it's short-circuiting your digital environment? She paused and then said, that makes more sense than anything else I've been told. Leo, your aura is like a solar flare. When your emotional state intensifies, your electromagnetic output spikes. Electronics can't predict or adapt to that, but animals, children, and spiritual seekers can. That's why your phone dies during arguments. Why your mic cuts off during powerful speeches. Why streetlights sometimes blink off as you walk by. Life lesson from sign 5. Stop letting people make you feel broken, because your energy disrupts the material world. You weren't born to be compatible with machines. You were born to upgrade the human spirit, not to be plugged into its hardware. So instead of fighting your frequency, learn to work with it. Ground your energy when handling tech. Take breaks during emotional surges. Charge your devices and yourself with intention. Because when you accept that your aura is powerful enough to bend electricity, you stop fearing it and start mastering it. Still here, Leo? Good. Because the next sign will shake you. It crosses into the territory of prophetic dreams that manifest in waking life. Sign 6. When your dreams become real. Leo, you've had dreams you couldn't forget. Not because they were frightening, not because they were beautiful, but because they were real, long before they became real in the physical world. You've seen places, then walked into them months later. You've had conversations, word for word, before they ever happened. You've dreamed of people strangers only to meet them in waking life and feel that unmistakable shock of recognition. What you thought were just dreams were never just dreams. They were downloads, previews, prophetic glimpses, and they're not rare for you. They're part of your energetic blueprint. Leo, your aura doesn't sleep when your body does. In fact, it becomes even more active. Because at night, your mind gets quiet And that's when your higher consciousness takes the wheel. While others drift in vague symbolic dreams, you travel. You receive messages. You move across timelines. You meet souls. You witness what is yet to come. You might wake up with a heavy chest, a strong emotion, or a knowing you can't explain. And days or weeks later, you find yourself living out what you dreamed. This isn't coincidence. This is one of the clearest signs that your aura isn't bound to the limits of linear time. A Leo named Marcus once told me that he dreamed of a violent argument between his best friend and a woman he'd never met in a coffee shop he'd never visited. 3 months later, he walked into that exact shop, and he froze. There was the woman. There was the argument. There was his best friend. Every word unfolded exactly as in the dream. He knew it wasn't déjà vu. It was a timeline his soul had already visited. He said, "After that day, I never again questioned my dreams. I started listening to them like divine briefings." And here's something even deeper. Many of your dreams aren't even about you. They're messages for others, warnings, confirmations, clues. That's why, when you try to explain them, people either look stunned or disturbed. Not everyone is ready to hear the truth from a place you haven't even reached yet in time. Life lesson from sign 6. Stop ignoring the dreams that haunt you. They're not distractions. They're not weird. They are whispers from your soul, giving you sacred data ahead of schedule. Start keeping a dream journal. Meditate on what your subconscious is showing you. And trust that when your aura sleeps, it's not resting, it's receiving. Your ability to dream the future is not a glitch. It's a responsibility, one that becomes clearer every time you stop doubting it. Now, Leo, we arrive at the final and deepest sign. It's not something you tell others, but it lives in you every single day. Sign 7, the nostalgia for a home that doesn't exist here. Leo, have you ever sat in the middle of a beautiful moment surrounded by people, success, even love, and still felt empty? Not because anything is wrong, but because something is missing, something you can't explain, can't name, and can't stop yearning for. It's not depression. It's not loneliness. It's cosmic nostalgia, a deep ache for a place that no map can lead to, a home your body has never visited, but your soul remembers. You've likely felt it strongest in moments of silence, staring into the night sky, hearing a song that stirs something ancient, being alone in nature, suddenly overwhelmed with emotion. That's not random. That's not imagination. That's the echo of another realm calling you back, not to return, but to remember. Leo, your aura is strange because you've always belonged somewhere else, somewhere where light is language, where purpose isn't questioned, where your power isn't feared, but celebrated, where you don't have to explain yourself because everyone there already understands your fire. And even though you're here now in this world, that place still lives inside you. It's why no achievement, no relationship, no status ever truly fills you. You're always seeking, always reaching. Not out of dissatisfaction, but because your soul knows this world is not the whole story. A Leo woman named Vanessa once told me that as a child, she'd stare out her bedroom window for hours and cry. Her parents thought she was sad, but she wasn't. She just missed something she couldn't describe. She said, "I used to think I was crazy, but now I know I was grieving a place I had left behind long before I was born." If you've ever felt that ache, that haunting sense that part of you is still waiting to go home, know this. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're simply awake to something most people have forgotten. Life lesson from sign 7. Don't fight the homesickness. Honor it. It's not a flaw. It's a compass. A reminder that you are not just of this earth, you are of the stars. Let that ache fuel your art, your voice, your leadership. Let it remind you that you're here on purpose, not to find home, but to build pieces of it on earth. Because, Leo, maybe the reason you feel that longing is because you were sent here to bring the memory of that place to life for others who forgot. And now we've reached the turning point. You've seen the signs. You've felt the truth stir inside you. But what does it all mean? Part 8, the final revelation. You were never meant to be ordinary. Leo, have you ever sat in the middle of a beautiful moment, surrounded by people, success, even love, and still felt empty? Not because anything is wrong, but because something is missing. Something you can't explain, can't name, and can't stop yearning for. It's not depression. It's not loneliness. It's cosmic nostalgia, a deep ache for a place that no map can lead to. A home your body has never visited, but your soul remembers. You've likely felt it strongest in moments of silence, staring into the night sky, hearing a song that stirs something ancient, being alone in nature, suddenly overwhelmed with emotion. That's not random. That's not imagination. That's the echo of another realm calling you back, not to return, but to remember. Leo, your aura is strange because you've always belonged somewhere else. Somewhere where light is language, where purpose isn't questioned, where your power isn't feared, but celebrated, where you don't have to explain yourself, because everyone there already understands your fire. And even though you're here now in this world, that place still lives inside you. It's why no achievement, no relationship, no status ever truly fills you. You're always seeking, always reaching. Not out of dissatisfaction, but because your soul knows this world is not the whole story. A Leo woman named Vanessa once told me that as a child, she'd stare out her bedroom window for hours and cry. Her parents thought she was sad, but she wasn't. She just missed something. Something she couldn't describe. She said, "I used to think I was crazy, but now I know I was grieving a place I had left behind long before I was born." If you've ever felt that ache, that haunting sense that part of you is still waiting to go home, know this. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're simply awake to something most people have forgotten. Life lesson from sign 7. Don't fight the homesickness. Honor it. It's not a flaw. It's a compass. A reminder that you are not just of this earth, you are of the stars. Let that ache fuel your art, your voice, your leadership. Let it remind you that you're here on purpose, not to find home, but to build pieces of it on earth. Because, Leo, maybe the reason you feel that longing is because you were sent here to bring the memory of that place to life for others who forgot. And now we've reached the turning point. You've seen the signs. You've felt the truth stir inside you. But what does it all mean? Part 8, the final revelation. You were never meant to be ordinary. Leo, take a deep breath. You've just walked through 7 truths that most people would never dare admit, even to themselves. And yet, as you listened, something inside you stirred. Not surprise, not confusion, but recognition. Because you've always known there was something about you that didn't quite fit, because it wasn't meant to. The world tried to label you too much, too intense, too emotional, too confident, too spiritual, too sensitive, too different. But now, you see the truth. You're not too much. You are too real for a world that is still remembering how to be honest. You were never meant to be ordinary, Leo. You were sent here to be a signal, a frequency, a sunlight that burns away illusions. Your aura was never designed for comfort. It was designed for transformation. Look back at the signs. You reflect others so powerfully, they either love you or fear you. You remember places your body has never been. Animals and children sense the ancient fire within you. You touch higher consciousness in silence. You interfere with technology because your energy can't be boxed. You dream the future. You long for a home that doesn't exist on this earth. None of that makes you broken. It makes you exactly what this world needs, but still doesn't understand. You were sent not to blend in, but to wake people up just by being who you are. Here's the life lesson of all 8 parts. Your difference is not a burden. It's your sacred responsibility. You don't have to tone yourself down. You don't have to explain your strangeness. You don't have to prove your power. You only have to honor it, to walk with it, to let it speak when words fall short, to let it lead you toward those who feel the same way, your cosmic tribe. And Leo, if this message reached you, it's not by accident. Maybe it found you in a moment of self-doubt. Maybe it found you when you were tired of trying to make sense of the reactions you get from people. Maybe it found you when your dreams were starting to whisper louder. Or maybe, just maybe, you were ready to remember who you really are. If this spoke to something ancient inside you, something you've always felt, but never heard anyone say aloud, then stay close. There's more coming. This channel was made for souls like you. Subscribe to Leo Zodiac Power if you're ready to stop apologizing for your light and finally start using it to awaken others. Because Leo, your aura was never from this world, but it was always meant to change it. And now it's your time to rise.